Hey guys, welcome back. So 1.47 has been out for a little while now, and the Ki-200 has undergone several changes. And it's received more fuel, and the flight model has changed quite a bit, but that's not what we're going to be focusing on in this video. We're going to be focusing on the landing. So the big change for landing is that this plane now has landing flaps. But I'm going to be showing some videos of my landings in chronological order, so the order that I did them. So you're going to see me learning how to make use of these flaps. So in this landing I didn't use the flaps much, but as you can see the plane is dropping a lot faster. I'm having to pull the nose up more, the plane is slowing down a lot more than it used to. And so I'm having to apply some throttle to keep me up in the air. So that was a little bit of a surprise to me, but it's an okay landing. You can see I switched to first person view quite a few times because that gives you the velocity vector, the little plane icon, which tells you exactly where your plane is going to land. Now here I deployed flaps, and you can see I have to lower the nose a lot to keep the same flight angle. So those flaps do give you a lot of lift. They also slow you down quite a bit, but that's okay for landing. As you can see I came down a little bit hard, I bounced a little, but it's good, it's fine. There was no damage done, so that's all good. I'm coming to a complete stop now. And as you can see the plane is staying nice and balanced. It's slowing down decently well, so it's all looking very good. And as you can see I come to a complete stop, the wings stay balanced, no funny business, no wings snapping off. So that's very nice. So we're going to look at my next landing, where I've learned a little bit more about how to use the flaps. So this was my second landing. As you can see I'm coming in from a very high speed, 380 kilometers per hour, and pretty high altitude, about 1,000 meters. But I deploy the flaps and then just pitch straight down, and you can see the plane is still slowing down. So these flaps are really useful if you want to make a steeper approach. If you wanted to do this in the previous patch, you would have had to slalom left and right to try to bleed some speed, make some turns, make some weird maneuvers. But you don't need to do that anymore. Just deploy the flaps and you'll slow right down. As you can see I'm just floating in, and once you go to about this speed you don't lose that much speed anymore. You just got to make sure that you have some fuel left over, because if you're going to land with flaps all the way, you might need a little bit of fuel to keep yourself airborne, because you might have to go to about 20% throttle or so. You can see me going up a little bit here so that my speed doesn't drop down too much, but it's fine. As you can see I'm in the first person mode, so I can guide that little plane icon right onto the runway. And here we go. Nice touchdown. Pretty smooth. And again, it's slowing down pretty good. So this is very nice. So the second landing also seems to be going very successfully. And here we go, coming to a complete stop. And landed. Again, the wings stay perfectly level. And it's a beautiful landing, so I repaired and rearmed from this one also. So we're going to take a look at another landing, because why not?
Keep it up and victory will be ours.
So this third landing, I'm getting pretty confident at this, so this time I'm even starting at about 540 kilometers per hour. I drop the gear, drop the flaps. The flaps don't seem to rip off that much, so I just kind of use them as air brakes to slow me down. Because you used to be very vulnerable during landing, because you'd have to slow down for a long time. It would take ages, you'd be at slow speed, very vulnerable. But now you can come in a lot faster and then slow down rapidly using the flaps, make your landing and get up back into the air, reducing the time that you're slow and vulnerable. So again, I'm coming down at a pretty steep angle, but because the flaps are deployed I'm not gaining speed, I'm actually losing speed, even though I'm dropping altitude. So this is very welcome news for me. And because you have more fuel now, I can plan in advance to keep a bit more fuel left over, so that, as you can see, I'm now throttling up to about, 18% or so just to keep the speed reasonable. But because you have so much fuel now, you're often going to have some fuel left for the landing. Here you can see I slowed down a bit too much there, so I had a bit of a bounce, but it seems that the plane has gotten a lot more friendly at landings, so you can just kind of slam it into the ground and it'll do fine. So what do the wings do this time? again, perfectly balanced. So I think I have another video where one of the wings does tip down, but it doesn't explode either, so spoiler. So we'll skip to that. So here's another landing, and the trend seems to be that as I do more and more landings, I keep coming in faster and faster. Because as I said previously, the faster you can come in, the less downtime you'll have, the less time you'll be vulnerable, so it's generally a decently good thing to try to come in as quickly as possible and then slow down as quickly as possible, put her down, and get her back up into the air. So now it's coming in at almost 800 kilometers per hour. I'm doing some turns to slow it down, deploying the gear, making some more turns. I'm going to deploy the flaps right about now, and that helps the speed drastically go down. Going first person mode so I can see exactly where my velocity vector is. As you can see, the plane is slowing down rapidly, very nice. At about 200 kilometers per hour you want to start being a little bit careful, because once you get out to about 170 or so you want to maybe start applying some thrust. I feel like 170, 160 is a pretty good speed to have during your final touchdown. So here I come, we touch down, and again this is exactly pretty much like all the other landings. It's become a lot more predictable, the landings. I mean, they're just easy to do now, so that's really nice that they finally fixed that. I'm sure some of the opponents of the Ki-200 won't be too happy. Again, the wings stay perfectly level. I'm sure there's one of these clips that the wings don't stay level, so we'll see if that's the next one. So here goes the next landing. We're starting at about 530 kilometers per hour. Deploying the gear, landing flaps going down. As you can see, the plane starts to rapidly slow down until you get to about 200 kilometers per hour. Then it doesn't slow down as much anymore. You gotta really pitch the nose down though if you want to descend while having the flaps down. As you can see, I'm pointing the nose well below the runway, just to try to lose some altitude. Actually raise the flaps here, because as you can see, without the flaps you drop faster and you still slow down quite a bit, so that can be useful if you want to do that. I mean, I'm just kind of experimenting with this because I'm not exactly sure what the best way is. So here I deploy flaps again, trying to slow down. I came in from a pretty steep angle, so probably best if I would have kept the flaps deployed the whole time. And this was a very bad landing. As you can see, I bounce all the way up. But you know what they say, any landing you walk away from is a good one, so. And another spoiler alert, I haven't crashed once on landing in this patch, so it seems they fixed it, so here we go, coming to a stop. And let's see, nope, the wings stay level again. So it just seems it's very easy to land this plane now. So this landing, I'm starting from 3,000 meters. I'm deploying landing flaps, deploying gear. I'm just going to drop straight down to the runway. The reason I had to start from this high is because I was just dodging a Bearcat just before this landing. So I had to gain some altitude to get away from him. He eventually crashed, but because of this I had to start my descent from very high altitude, so I deployed the gear, deployed the flaps. Now I've retracted the flaps just to keep my speed up a bit. Don't want to slow down too much when I don't have to, but the flaps, I must say, are very, very, very useful in my opinion for the landings, just because they give you pretty much air brakes to help you with the landing. But this time I didn't want to lose too much speed because I don't have much fuel. I think I have like 8 seconds, so I don't want to. I need to keep some fuel for the landing possibly, so I don't want to come in too slow because then it could end in disaster, and that's generally not a bad thing. I mean, not a good thing. It'd be a bad thing if it ends in disaster. So But I mean, 8 seconds of fuel, if you're flying at 20%, you can stretch that for almost like half a minute, so it's not too bad. So here we go, coming in pretty hot. Floating a bit above the runway, but it's all good. There we go, touchdown. And let's see how it goes. Slowing down, and as you can see this time one of the wings is dipping. And there we go, the wing dips, hits the ground. But no funny twitching, so it's all good. I walk away from this landing also. So this has been kind of a long video for just teaching you how to land, but that's okay. I just wanted to show you all my landings, because why not? I also have some gameplay footage that I'll be showing soon, in which I'll describe some of the changes to the flight model of the Ki-200, which are significant. They make quite a big difference, so you'll be seeing that. Several kills, and also some good defensive flying from the enemies. So I'll make that video pretty soon also, so I hope to see you then. Okay, thanks for watching guys, bye bye.